So, are we ready to start enacting the plan?
Always.
Oh boy. As ready as I'll ever be.
All right. If I can remember which Japanese track it is, here we go. So, as a recap, you ended up meeting up with your aunt and your brother, Erjor, and were able to stay the night in their cabin after a very perilous day in Jasper. In the morning, you had some discussion with your family members and eventually set out on a quest for cerulean sea moss out in Seaport. Making your way through the apparently very dangerous forest, encountering a pack of wild boars that were not very happy at your presence and choosing to fight rather than flee. You did end up felling all 3 of the boars and moved on your way. Eventually coming across a river, which also gave you a very strong fight. Nature that day was not at your side. Eventually, though, you did survive the river before falling into the main stream that passed through the center of the valley and made your way off to Seaport, finding that a lot of the egoish warehouses had received effectively complete fire damage versus the Siva warehouses that had seemingly returned mostly unscathed, or made it out of the attack mostly unscathed. There were also many people injured on the streets, specifically by the river where they were getting their burns cooled off by people helping them. Moving through the eager-wish rubble of warehouses, of what once was warehouses, you ended up making it to the docks themselves, at which point a group of militia led by some sort of leader, as groups of militia tend to be led by. At this, you started walking in the opposite direction, and Erjor, you slipped into a nearby alley as they were just approaching, and turned yourself invisible with the strum of a guitar, hoping that you wouldn't be heard. Meanwhile, Pank is still in the middle of the sky, drunkenly flying around, looking for the Red 3! And is too drunk, probably, to receive any sendings. And so, we bring it back in to this moment here, if I can remember the keyboard shortcuts. So here's the setup that we're in right now. Erjor, you're in that alley. Gregor, you've just turned around to see a unfamiliar face, but a very familiar clothing style. This is very similar to Liam's clothing, more so than the militia.
Okay.
What you see specifically, as this person had just said, citizen, stop. You see someone in gray cloaks and leathers, similar to Liam, with pale blue eyes, strikingly pale, in fact, with brown hair, very clean shaven, with 2 scars across their right cheek, crossing on the right cheek, and a slanted scar across the forehead, and a restitched scar on 3/4 of the left cheek, as if their mouth had been slowly cut open by something, and then later stitched back. And poignantly for Gregor's perspective, he's holding your upgraded spear from Zircon that had been enhanced with an air elemental crystal to be able to harness some of the abilities of that air elemental. This is a spear that you lost in the Eagerwish manor.
The plan too is coming back to me now. I'm remembering.
So, he's not doing anything right now. You've just turned around. What is your first reaction?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Can I see this person?
I'd say they're just barely out of your periphery. If you want to move towards the entrance of that alleyway you snuck into, this
Can
is you
I-
right here. You
Can I
certainly
climb up
lean in.
on that building that I'm next to?
There would be, we'll say there's a ladder back over here.
Oh, I have
yeah.
the spider slippers.
Oh, yeah. Then definitely you can. Also, I forgot to turn on the boats in the docks. They were there the whole time.
And
And
I'm
Gregor,
just gonna.
he's just looking at you right there. You've got about 6 seconds worth of anything to do.
I say, "Oh, hey there. What's going on?"
Ah, I thought it was you. That must have been the Eager Wish with you. Where'd he scurry off to?
Like,
Do you say that out loud?
no, God, no. I don't think Gregor curses.
Yeah, no. None of my characters do.
Yeah.
Short for words.
Eager Wish, what's that?
Well, I can see you made it out of my manor. Mostly unscathed. Can you tell me what happened to my wife and son?
Oh,
They should have been there at the time.
And your son would be who? You see, I'm not
Thomas
exactly
Seaver.
sure.
Similar clothes to me, shorter. Young, handsome. Long life ahead of him.
right.
At least until
And
recent events.
recent events have been quite dramatic, haven't they? Sorry. Recent events have been quite dramatic, haven't they?
Indeed.
I wouldn't know their whereabouts. We escaped, after all. We don't. They were in a manor last.
Okay. I see. Fair enough. Well, let me cut to the chase. You gave quite the show of strength back at the manor. How would you be interested in hunting an arbiter?
I just straight up. Oh gosh.
Join my ranks. You'll be fed well, paid well, and trained well.
This
Not
is
only that,
going-
but you'll be able to bask in the glory of being among the first in millennia to fell an arbiter. It's not a bad deal as far as I see it. I'm willing to put our past squabbles behind me. And you're quite strong. I'll say it straight up. And he steps forward and leans into you. Close to your shoulder. He's a little shorter than you, obviously, but it's still, rather comfortably close. And well, I could do it easily. It'd be a shame to kill you.
I don't think he'd be saying this if he knew the actual current whereabouts of his son and wife. Not out
He
loud.
steps back.
Not out loud. Okay, so there's an easy out for this, for us. If I say yes, this is so far away from the plan.
Yeah, this is not what I was expecting to happen.
So again, we could very easily get out of this by me saying yes and then having some sort of escape later on. Or we still go with the plan anyways.
From the rooftop. Oh no.
Okay.
Oh, so you would be seeing and hearing this?
I presume I hear this. I do see this.
I
I don't hear the
You
whisper,
would have heard
I guess.
most of that. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, I'm gonna keep watching for now. I don't want to potentially ruin this yet.
I mean, wouldn't it be, I don't know, kind of like very hard to kill an arbiter?
That's the idea. Took armies of
You could-
men millennia ago. Entire cities built just to fell one. A lot of that technology is lost to time, but it's our intention to build it back.
I'm gonna chime in now.
Okay.
So I am still invisible, and
Oh,
invisibility
right. I should put
doesn't
you on
break
top of the roof there.
with speech. But I'm gonna say, so you would be willing to put aside the rough past our families have had for this arbiter?
So you can see that his eyes very quickly, even though you're invisible, dart right to your location because, of course, you're speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, there you are. And he's going to throw the spear in your direction.
Oh.
Yeah, that makes
Rolling
sense.
initiative.
If you so choose. I'm going to
That-
check something here.
If you so choose means that it's not inherently hostile yet.
It's not happening
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah, it might be the keyword here.
So the spear comes very close to your location. Of course, you're invisible. So actually, I'll do that. As he appears right here in a dash of wind. And he's going to attempt to grapple you. It's going to be at disadvantage. Ooh, not very good. Go ahead and make a strength or a dexterity check to save.
A dex check.
Save.
Dex save, that's a 14.
14. Okay, so he manages not to even brush by you. Show yourself.
So much for the pleasantries. I'm gonna start moving away from him.
Okay. Where do you want to move?
Just north.
All right. George. By how many squares? Or how many feet?
Let's say 20 feet.
All right. And are you trying to be stealthy about this?
Yes.
All right. As you're walking on a tin roof, go ahead and make a stealth check at disadvantage.
Yeah, that would. Ooh, man, one of those was 17. 7 in total.
7 in total. He pins her location very quickly at the slightest creaking of the roof. He's going to go ahead and run up to you. Very swift-like. And again, attempt to grab you. At disadvantage. Okay. Go ahead and make another save.
24.
24. Okay. Yeah, he does not grab you. You can keep doing something here, or he's going to do something next.
Man.
I was hoping that would work. Just the you're willing to put aside family squabbles thing.
And Gregor, in front of you, you can see that these 6 militiamen, and possibly women, you can't tell because they're all mostly cloaked up, do seem to be slowly and hesitantly drawing their weapons.
Oh boy. What? Hell, I forgot what health did Gregor's leave off with.
Oh, man.
Yeah, there it is.
All right. So,
Oh,
put the
man.
health counter up.
Yeah, I'm just gonna cede my action away because I haven't thought of anything.
this individual that's been chasing you now, and actually, you would have gotten a good look at this. This is definitely Conrad Siva, father of the Siva family.
Me or
George.
okay, I was about to say.
He's going to take something off of his belt, this large warhammer, and just start swinging it around in attempts to hit you. Ooh, again, not great. Because he's attacking at disadvantage because you're invisible, that is going to be a natural 2 to hit. That's not going to hit for sure. And he doesn't seem to be swinging this weapon around necessarily utilizing what looks to be whatever magical function it has, as it has these red lines that are clearly of some sort of magical inscription. He does not seem to be utilizing that function. He's just swinging it around to try and collide with you, to pinpoint your location. What are you doing?
I see that our family squabbles are more important to you than an arbiter. That's a shame, isn't it?
He's now pinpointed you again.
Yeah, that's fair.
At this point, let's see, this is what distance now? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, about 50 feet. He's going to stand up straight, put the hammer back on his belt. Looking in your general direction, but not knowing where you are. Gregor, I'd say make a perception check if you want to hear any of this, if you're even focused in this area.
Yeah, I think I would have been looking in that general direction for at least a little bit.
Okay.
Well, it doesn't matter anyway.
Low roll.
It's a 7, so
Okay.
my passive perception is higher.
So go ahead and deafen up real quick.
All right.
So, Conrad, looking in your general direction, in a softer voice, as in quieter rather than softer tone. Look, while I'd love to see the eager wishes eradicated, mostly for political reasons. You don't exactly serve a threat to me anymore. And besides, you're not the ones who boiled my brother in his own blood and burnt down my home with my wife and child inside. I have a bigger vendetta to pay than some political squabble. There's blood to pay, and I'm going to make sure that it's spilled.
I would say our goals align then.
So you can either get away from here. I have no quarrel with you anymore. Or we strike down with the rest of your family. Either's fine for me.
You do me the honor of getting the spear back to my friend, and we can be on our way. For we too have aims of striking the Arbiter down.
Interesting wording. Okay. Man, there was a mechanic here that's just not coming into play. I see. In that case, make a deal with me. When you next encounter the Arbiter, have that guy use that black sword on his back.
Black sword on Gregor's back?
The fancy sword you picked up in the Siva Manor is likely what he's talking about.
Oh. I can certainly arrange that.
Very good.
Now I believe you have a tool of ours we would like back.
I'd hate parting with it, but I'd hate those arbiters living anymore. And he hands over the spear. Into the air, waiting for you to pick it up.
You can just go back down and give it to the big man down there.
Throws it back in Gregor's direction. In Gregor's general
Accurate.
direction. So this guy has just appeared next to you, Gregor, once again in a dash of breeze.
Whoa. Hey there.
Well, seems like your compatriot was happy making a deal on your behalf.
Oh? What,
I can
he
return
say?
this spear to you, but in return, you have to promise something.
Okay.
When you next encounter that Arbiter, go ahead and use that black sword on your back. This is the fancy spear that George had retrieved out of the manor. Or I think I said fancy spear. It's fancy sword. The magical sword in your inventory that you've not yet attuned to.
Yeah, I can do that.
Very well.
I'm happy to make that deal.
Hold out your hand.
I go and hold out my hand.
All right. And he is going to very swiftly take in one, bouncing the sphere just on its end during this whole process, which is just very fast. He's going to let go of the spear, produce a dagger from his belt, and a piece of paper. Put the paper on your hand and stab through the paper with a dagger. You feel a brief moment of pain as the paper quickly burns up, and you see a blood crest appear on your hand. Very well. It's a deal.
Ow.
See,
Wow.
grabs the spear back. Hands
Well,
it
I
over.
guess it's official, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I grabbed the spear. uh, cool. What I heard some mumblings of what was going up there, and like a very particularly loud and, but I didn't hear anything but like a.
Basically
What
everything I've
happened?
just told you here.
Yeah.
Oh, and
Okay.
by the way, if you do go back on that deal, say goodbye to your hand. And the rest of your arm. And if you continue to not follow through, obviously, death.
Yeah. You. I don't think I'll. No, I don't think I'll go back on it.
Very good. Are you being genuine there?
Yeah. Yeah. I think so.
All right. All right, militia. Let's head out. Things have been settled here. And he takes the militia and he leaves.
I'm gonna climb off the roof now.
Yeah, this was probably the farthest thing from the plan to the. Both of the plans have just
Did not go to plan.
did not go to plan. But granted, the plan one was to do one thing and then figure it out from there. So
No, the plan 2, literally all of the actions I was supposed to do for the plan 2, except for climbing on top of the roof, did not happen.
yeah, and none of them happened for me as well. The original plan, Ryan, was to either grab the spear from him and throw it and make myself whoosh away.
Hmm.
Or I don't even remember what the other part was.
I have polymorph.
Oh, right.
Um,
The plan 2
and
also
what
uses
what was
polymorphing.
but I asked for CR rating because that determines what level or what kind of animals you can polymorph into. So the original idea, um, level 8, as a 4-party team, you're supposed to be at like CR 7 or 8. At CR 8 is a Tyrannosaurus Rex. So I was either going to turn him into a flying animal or a T-Rex or of some sort. We were
I
just
think that would
gonna.
have hurt your cases.
Oh yeah, that was if like everything. If that was like last, like we got to get out of here type stuff. Like
Oh, turn yourself
I'm
into a
gonna.
T-Rex. I don't know why I thought you meant turn him into a T-Rex.
No, I met him. I
Oh,
was gonna.
wait, what?
Yeah,
T-Rex is very violent.
yeah. I'm on top of the roof, and Gregor would be the T-Rex.
Oh, I thought I thought you meant
I would target
Conrad.
Gregor. I would target Gregor, not Conrad, because Gregor wouldn't have to roll to make the save because he wouldn't be
Yeah.
hostile.
Okay.
So it would just immediately be Gregor T-Rex and me running distraction on the roof.
Well, you've now
That was not
surpassed this
required.
trial. Just you and Gregor.
Okay, with that, I'm gonna dispel the invisibility. Okay, that's what's
Oh,
better than it should have.
so what?
I can confirm he was telling the truth. That was actually the entire conversation, basically.
Oh, wow.
Um, though, oh man. Well, I have an idea. I need to get back to my brother soon. Let's get the seaweed and get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I agree. My hand still stings a bit.
Yeah, let me look at that.
I'll hold my hand out.
How does it look?
There is a magical crest carved in with blood over Gregor's left hand.
I'm gonna take my healer's kit
Okay.
and I'm just gonna apply some bandages over his hand.
Okay. And I will
Good
say
as
that
new.
it is.
Good as new.
Good as new.
Actually, I won't say anything there. So, what are you doing?
I think we're probably just gonna be going to the coast and getting seaweed, right?
You're there.
Yeah, let's go look for the seaweed.
All right. So, presumably, you approach the docks.
Mhm. I guess one of the ducks.
Yeah.
Probably just the closest one.
hmm
You can see in the water here, there is, of course, plenty of green plant matter. Go ahead and turn off these guys. That does look like a fuzzy sort of moss, just floating on the top.
How is it close enough to just reach down and start grabbing?
Yeah.
What color moss is this?
It is the color that you see on the screen there.
Yeah, that should be it.
How much of it do you want to grab, and what are you storing it in?
Would the magic cube be an appropriate storage cube be an appropriate vessel for this?
Yeah, I could store that.
All right, I'm gonna get like a couple handfuls worth of it.
Yeah, same. Big scoops. With, I
All right.
presume, Gregor's big hands.
Big meaty hands.
Big meaty claw.
All right. So you sufficiently acquire, I will say, just for round numbers, a pound of sea moss.
Yeah.
All right. You've got your moss.
So after all that, this is what we came for.
Yeah, that was
I feel like it's slightly more than a day trip, but it's okay.
what time is it right now? Looking at the sky.
That would be a good question. Let me open my calendar. I believe it is past midday at this point. Yeah. It's probably about 2 p.m., we'll say.
Yeah, we should get going back.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm gonna tell my brother that the Sivas have been wiped out. And the town has also been mostly wiped out.
All right.
Would that be convincing? I need to convince him not to come back here because he'll just get himself killed. And well,
What's the best lie that could be told to make sure he doesn't come here?
he's a real vet. The issue is, I feel like if yeah, let's walk and talk.
Yeah.
So where are you walking? In which direction?
Out of the docks, just back toward the forest in general.
Okay, so back the route you came, effectively.
Effectively, yeah.
And you do have your mask on right now.
Yes. So I worry that if I tell him the Seavers have been wiped out, he'll try to come back here. Tell him the destruction was worse than previously thought. The Eager Witch Manor was the manor. Yeah,
That's your
yeah.
manner, yes?
It was relatively untouched, wasn't it?
I believe you
Oh,
did
oh
get a
wait,
view
no,
of it.
because it. Yeah, hold on.
The multi-purpose room had been hit, and there were cinders on that, but the whole manor did not end up burning down.
Right.
I believe you were able to see that from your vantage point of the valley.
Yeah. Oh,
Didn't you say that most of the Eager Wish stuff was the stuff that was wiped out here?
Of the warehouses, yes.
Yeah. What if you mentioned something about that, like the Sivas came out a whole bunch better than the Eager Wishes, so that they're in a much better position, you know?
that would still leave the issue of him wanting to even the playing field. So,
Mm. Yeah. I don't know.
though,
He seemed pretty gung ho about the whole family rivalry thing. I don't know if there's much that you can do to dissuade him.
if I were to say the items of both houses were effectively wiped out, that might work. Just tell him our stuff was wiped out. The stuff the Sivas had was wiped out. In a sense, it was. Both are technically correct in a way, depending on how literally you take my words.
Just one a little bit more so than the other, but
Depending on what you're talking about. I mean, we still have a house to return to, but he doesn't. I don't think he needs to know that. Um, how far have we? Um,
With this much talking, we'll say you've made it out to the bounds of Seaport.
mhm.
So you're on the verge.
So, how do you reckon we are getting back to the forest?
Oh, and I will say the the path to the main road has been melted and burnt by whatever had, come in and destroyed things. So there's no clean route, but you could take it out by foot if you so choose. But it's too rough to take a cart or anything.
I mean, can't we just go back the same way that we came?
We could try that. I'm not going to be able to use all of the fancy little tricks that I did last time. So if it were to go bad, it will probably go really bad.
We better just not lose our footing and drown.
That is a fantastic idea. I do I do have an idea. I thought of it while in case we would need it
Mm-hmm.
and it didn't come up then, but it might help here. Say, Gregor,
Yes.
are you familiar with dinosaur folk?
How familiar would Gregor be with?
History check at disadvantage.
Oh boy.
Is history wisdom or intelligence?
It's intelligence.
Okay, so that's gonna be a -1. That's gonna be a 6.
Okay. No idea.
Yeah, I have no clue. I don't know much of anything
Well,
about that.
I do have an idea, and if it works, we could get back pretty quickly. I'll just have to take a note out of my arts book. Just give me some space and see if you can hop up on my back as I cast polymorph on myself.
Are you doing this at the edge of Seaport?
I'm gonna do it like I'll do it like on the plains while no one is around.
Okay. So Control Alt M. Here we go. So this is the path you're journeying on to the river. So you're like about here? A little farther
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
Okay. And okay, so you cast polymorph on yourself.
And I'm going to transform into a Quetzalcoatlus. Quetzalcoatlus.
Okay.
Whatever that thing is.
And here I will send the page I'm looking at for this monster.
Interesting. Does polymorph have a limit to flight?
So I just turn into the creature that I selected. So I have 80 flight feet and 10 I have 10 movement feet.
Okay. Sure.
And what I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure to stay relatively low to the ground to not try to stir up any
Okay.
arbitrary actions against us, let's say.
Sure. So you're starting from around here, you said?
Yep.
Okay, in which direction are you flying?
I guess just like southeast, directly toward the forest.
So this direction here?
Yeah.
All right. So this would be so 10 30. So you'd be able to get to about here. Although you're a little faster because you're flying. So we'll say you can get around about to the area you're looking for. You're gonna need
And
to
I do have Gregor on my back, right?
Yes. Okay, so that's true. So maybe make your way over to middle of the forest type area before you start getting the sense that your polymorph is about to run out.
That's fine with me. We can go ahead and land. We're in the forest. That's chilling.
Yeah, we made it also past the river, so
We also passed the river.
So half of the challenge is already passed.
Oh, thank goodness.
yeah, hopefully there's not another pack of wild boars.
So now that you say that,
Oh god.
are you trying to look for a clearing, or are you landing in the trees and climbing down?
I'll try to look for a clearing because it'd be a little difficult for Gregor.
Sure. So you can end up. This area is pretty dense, but there's some clearings off in this direction.
I mean, Gregor has the rope, right?
Yeah, Gregor should have the rope.
Gregor could just tie a knot and say, "Hey, rope, can you lower me down to the ground?"
Yeah, I guess we could land wherever then, because I have the
no.
the slippers.
Clearing would be easier then.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not being able to communicate as a polymorph.
That is true.
We'll say you end up in this clearing over here. And now you have to find your way back to the cabin.
Okay. We do have to do that.
So, which way back to the cabin?
So we just got past the river. Can I make a history check to try to remember sort of where we're supposed to be going?
Could we go back to the river and follow it?
You can make a history check to see if you recognize the area.
Ooh, nat 20.
At 20, there are 0 familiar mushrooms in this area.
Oh boy.
Damn. And that 20 doesn't help even.
Yeah,
No,
this is
nothing.
completely.
But if that's a history check, plus I believe you're proficient in history,
Yeah.
you would. History isn't quite the right stat for it, but it's a natural 20. You would get the sense that you're probably both north and west of your location, of the location of the cabin. Beyond that, you're not entirely sure.
That's good enough to start with.
But you're sure you don't need to go north, and you're sure you don't need to go any more west.
Okay. No, I don't think we need to head back to the river. I just think we need to keep going the direction we were going. And hopefully we'll start running into things that we do recognize.
Sounds good to me.
All right. So now, what are you doing?
We're just going to be walking in that direction, right?
Just straight southwest?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess just in the direction that we were flying, so.
And I'll keep an eye out for any of the local mushrooms that I would recognize. And the weed.
So go ahead and make me a survival check here. Whoever's leading the party.
I rolled an 11.
Okay.
And
So
compared to what I've been
you're
reading, so-
able to continue walking in this direction. There doesn't seem to be anything impeding your way. You see some forest animals, such as deer and rabbits, moving by, but none that seem to pay you any mind. You, of course, see plenty of mushrooms, none of which you do recognize. And you get about another mile in your direction. Go ahead and make me another survival check.
16.
16. Okay. Along this stretch, you do recognize higher up in one of the trees a very charcoaly burnt sort of tumor looking mass.
Oh. Hey, look up there, Gregor.
Huh?
It's the mushroom we were digging for.
Oh, yeah. The one that's like charcoal.
Yeah. Say, that sword on your back,
Uh-huh.
is it like magical in nature?
And you said that this is one that we stole from.
Mhm.
Oh. Would Gregor be able to tell if it's magical? Has he used it like magically?
I believe wisdom is your arcana stat. So if you make
I
a
think it's
check there.
intelligence.
Is it intelligence? Okay, yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's intelligence.
Yeah, that's a 7.
Could be. You don't know.
I don't know. But it looks pretty cool.
Right. Well, if we're going to use that in the fight, you would want to make sure that if you need to attune to it, that you are attuned to it.
Mhm. Yeah. That would be great. I just I don't know anything about it.
Fair enough. It's a little fortunate that you had that
But
in a way.
if he wanted me to use it in particular, there's got to be something special about it, right?
Well, it's a Siva blade, and he has a
Mm,
vendetta. So I hope so. For our sake, I certainly hope so. No, he just said to use it, so didn't say to like slay it. He just said use it.
I guess that's fair.
So you're a master of all things weaponry, so um, I'm sure you'll have no trouble using it, and then maybe using something else alongside it should that be necessary.
I could probably get used to it. Feels good in the hand.
Can I sort of get a look at this weapon?
Oh,
Sure.
yeah, sure. I pull it back out and hand it over to you.
Well, so it's just like a black blade.
So it's a very long black blade. Not quite katana length. It's more shape-wise. It's sort of saber-like, or not saber-like. It's like a midpoint between scimitar and short sword. Is that a saber? Saber's the like thin one, right?
It's like
Yeah.
the horse weapon, or the one you'd use on a horse.
Yeah. So not quite a saber. It's like a thick saber, I guess you could say. I don't know my swords well enough.
No, Saber is that one girl from that anime that is popping up when I look up Saber.
Yeah, I
Yep.
also was like, I need to look up sword and not just saber.
Apparently, I have very normal person Google search results.
Apparently, I
Yeah,
don't.
it's got
Apparently I
a
don't.
curved front to it, but it's long and it's black, and it's very pristine.
It's certainly a beautiful looking blade.
The hilt itself is sort of carved like a integral symbol, and in the pommel there is a red gem.
Does it look like one of the elemental um orbs we've come across
It
with
does
other
not.
enchanted?
It is a somewhat translucent gem with almost like drops of red liquid imbued in it that have, some sort of red material that was liquid at some point, but it had hardened up at another. And it's very geometrically cut.
Is it clearly designed to be like a one-handed sword, or could go either way?
I believe I should just look at the thing here. The long sword.
It's a long sword. Okay. I'm gonna like hand the sword back off a little bit, and say, "Could you swing it around? See what we're working with."
Yeah, sure. And Gregor's gonna hold it and just start naturally whoosh, whoosh, whoosh.
Do I notice anything off or different about the swings?
I won't even make you check because you both feel that this is a normal seaman sword. There's nothing magical happening right now.
It is quite nice to swing. Very well made.
It's quite a beautiful sword. I'm guessing the contract you agreed to just said use it. Um,
Yeah, he didn't specify anything else. He just said use it.
he just said use it, not to any specific degree. I'm
Nope.
going to imagine that you won't be sticking with just that because it doesn't seem to be arbiter slang in any meaningful way. But I will say, quite a beautiful sword.
Indeed. Though I don't know how Arbiter slaying any of the rest of my weapons are.
You make a very good point.
Because that thing is kind of like the big bad.
Yeah, even the weapon. I mean, the Siva weaponry was very advanced, and even with their heavy siege equipment, it was lacking.
I mean, he said that they had whole cities dedicated to killing them back in the day.
We have our work cut out for us then.
Yeah.
Can't even fully convince the fighting to stop to rally together. Though at least Conrad was more amenable than my brother.
At least he was willing to negotiate somewhat.
If only that was shared between the families. All right, let's keep moving.
Put the sword back in my back.
All right. And you've not practiced with it long enough to attune.
Mm-hmm.
So do you just continue on in the same direction?
I think so.
All right, survival check.
That is that's a 7.
All right.
Should I be rolling it too? Or is it only the leader?
Just the leader. Actually, you can. Yeah, go ahead and either George makes makes his check at advantage, or you can do one yourself as well.
Mm-hmm.
Your choice.
And it's survival?
Yeah. So it would be
Yeah.
wisdom, I believe.
Yeah.
Wisdom? Okay. So that's just straight. So that's going to be an 11.
All right. You both do not recognize any mushrooms here.
Oh boy.
There's not even the charcoal one anymore.
No, you just saw the one clod.
Mm-hmm.
But you do hear what sounds to be a pack of something in your general area moving around.
Dear God.
It is time to hide.
Yeah, I don't want to deal with those guys again.
I also don't want to deal with them. What I'm gonna do, I'm going to climb up a tree to hide this time.
Okay. And Gregor, what are you doing?
I'm gonna throw my rope up to George, and if he can tie it up there, so I can just pull myself up.
I feel like we've done this before.
Well, no. Well, this time though, like I wasn't throwing it up to you so that you could tie it around a branch or something last time, right? You were just holding it.
I was just holding it. This, yeah.
I'm going
so
to
I'll just
remind you
tie
that
it
you
to
can talk
something.
to the rope.
I wonder if the rope can tie a knot for me.
Hey, rope, can you tie around this branch?
Ties a knot around the branch.
All right, you're good to go, Gregor.
Oh, awesome. I mean, he's gonna grab the rope and be like, "Hey, rope, can you pull me up, please?"
You slowly up into the tree.
God, I love this thing.
All right, I'm gonna look around to see if I see the pack of whatever.
Okay, you can see that one of them, as they're walking by, you do see a pack of wolves. That one of them accidentally does slip one of its legs down an embankment, knock down a bunch of soil and rocks. But it recovers and continues running.
Okay, so wolves, arguably better than boars.
Arguably worse.
That's just to not fight anything right now.
I agree.
So, we don't know where we are, do we?
No, not really. Up here, do I get any hint of any recognizability?
Okay. Go ahead and make me a perception check.
Oh no.
Hmm.
I dropped my dice. I don't know where it went. Okay, I'll just roll in here. Ooh, that is another 7.
Hmm.
Still here.
Okay, so that would be a natural 20 from Gregor.
So Gregor, wait, is Jason still here?
I'm here. I'm here.
Okay.
Hi.
Gregor, off in the distance, just barely visible, you see a gray cat jump out of one of the trees, do a big stretch, and then start scratching its claws against the tree. And then start
Kitty!
walking off.
Kitty.
Gray kitty. Would I recognize this as Miriam?
Apparently you do, yeah.
I, as the player, remember that
Yeah.
that would have been Miriam, but would Gregor?
Therefore,
I mean,
Gregor
it's the same day, right?
Yeah.
I feel like it's not that big of a stretch. Although it was a big stretch.
That was a big stretch.
You saw the cat.
Yeah, if I'm remembering right, that's Miriam, right?
Well,
The
yeah,
gray cat.
let's follow. Yeah.
It's such a nice cat.
Such a nice cat.
All right, so presumably you jump down in some form.
I'm gonna ask the rope to lower me again,
I'm gonna
and then untie the nut.
Okay.
I'm gonna make sure the top knot. I guess you could ask the rope to untie the top knot.
Oh yeah, that's what I meant. I was just gonna ask it to untie as well.
Okay, so you're
I'm
back on the
gonna
ground.
walk on down.
And Gregor, you did see the cat start walking off.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go in the direction of the cat.
All right. Go ahead and make me another perception check.
Watch, every nat 20 has to be balanced out by a low roll, so it's just the nature of life. Never mind. That'll be a dirty 20.
Dirty 20? Yeah, so you make your way over to where you saw the cat, and you can see it walking off in the western direction.
All right, let's follow the kitty.
All right. I'm gonna start ritually preparing. Can I? Never mind. Never mind.
All right. And with Gregor's natural 20 followed by a dirty 20, we're just going to say you follow the cat for probably about 2 hours as it meanders. This is, 2 hours, and you're getting deeper into the forest. Do you continue following?
Yeah, I'd say so. Cats always know where to return, no matter how far away they go.
Yeah, that's true.
And are you following at a distance, or are you kind of getting up close?
I would give it a good distance because I don't want it to think that we're trying to do anything. Although it does probably, hopefully, recognize us.
All right. So after about another 30 minutes, you do come back to a familiar clearing with a cabin made of 4 trees that have been shaped and twisted into one single structure.
I guess we're back.
I breathe a sigh of relief.
And I'm gonna go over to the kitty and start like giving it pets. And be like, "Good job, kitty. You brought us back."
Yeah, it's not going to put up much of a resistance. It's just going
I'm gonna cast Speak with Animals on myself and
Okay.
thank Miriam. Thank you, Miriam. We were hopelessly lost out there.
And at saying that, Miriam, your aunt, pokes her head out and says, "Oh, you're very welcome. What'd I do?" "Oh, Miriam, welcome back. It's good to see you. And of course you too as well. Come. Soup is always ready, but soup's ready."
I'm
Does the
starving.
cat respond in any way?
Gives you a head tilt.
Yeah, that checks out.
Yeah.
And like a roll.
Oh, like it rolls onto the ground.
Yeah.
Greggy's gonna go up and pet Billy, which is dangerous. Is it a trap this time, or is it a genuine?
Let's see. What is this attack?
Only one way to find out.
I feel like he's rolling a d4 right now.
Does a 22 hit?
What?
Which one of us?
Gregor.
I would assume me, the one who's trying to pet its tummy.
So, not full claws, but like a little bit prickly, and a little bit of like not forceful biting onto your hand.
Yeah, that's
So
a
tries,
feeling
like,
I'm all too familiar with in real life.
Gives clawless foot kicks as well, just at your hand.
Okay, no belly pets, gotcha.
It seems you've been hit with the ultimate
And
ruse.
I'll say, as you pull your hand back, the cat does do the
like he's
just hands out.
I love this little guy.
So, do you head in?
Yeah.
I think I'll head in after that.
All right. So the scene you come in on is much the same. You have V. Palombi over in one window, just resting on the side. She's, welcome back. And you have your brother, Nuvian, off to the side, reading some sort of book, some sort of tattered book. And he doesn't seem to look up. He's just invested in reading.
I'm gonna get the storage cube out and just get the cerulean seaweed out.
Ah, great. Oh, that's quite a lot of sea moss. Well, looks around. She goes ahead and grabs like 5 jars. You're not sure if she's like they're very precariously grabbed. You don't know if she's about to drop any, and she just waves her leg in a general direction, and plants sprout up and form a table that she sets them down on. Well, I guess we ought to bottle this up.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Start.
in a tedious process of very squelchy material, you eventually get all of the sea moss bottled up. She uses a spell to create some water to fill in the jars. She seals 4 of them up. No, she seals 5 of them up, puts them back on the shelf, and then whatever's left, she goes ahead and leaves on the table. Well, I'd say 1 night of brewing, and I should be able to finish this up. And hopefully, that should be enough to finish your brother's treatments here.
Perfect. I'm gonna head over to him.
Oh, brother. I see you back.
Hello. Yes, we just got back. So we made our way to Seaport and all of that.
I see. And you got the moss, which is great. Stuff
Yep.
doesn't taste the best, but
Oh, I can't imagine it
works.
does. So the well, Seaport wasn't in the best of shape, though.
I can imagine based off of what you've said before. I assume it's much like the town?
Yes. There's like nothing left. I mean, our warehouses are like all the warehouses are gone.
Deception check.
Good time. That is a dirty 20.
That's a natural 2. Well, I suppose they didn't want to leave us anything to work with then.
It's all
Hmm.
burnt to ash. Doesn't seem that any of the Sivas are around either.
You're gonna need another deception check for that.
Yep. That's an 11.
That's a 16.
Mm.
Brother. Elaborate more on that, please.
We did see some of the remaining patrols, but it was clear that they were leaving the city, seemingly in preparation for something. But they were not staying.
Another deception check.
Oh my gosh! That's a 7.
You lie like father. You know that, right?
I would imagine I'm better at it. Part of it is true, though.
Which parts?
The Sivas are hunting the Arbiters.
Makes sense, I suppose. They'd go after anyone who they see a threat.
That they do. So,
And you're talking about just the general militia, or did you end up running into an actual Siva?
I would say that the Sivas wouldn't exist if not for at least one of their family still around. It was Conrad himself.
And he just looks. You see at the name of Conrad, just a spark of fury in your brother's eyes. I see. Well, that is terrible news.
If you have a death wish, you'll go after him, brother.
Oh, I certainly do.
This is not the time to continue this. Even Conrad recognized that.
Persuasion check.
14.
Okay.
I can. Gregor is overhearing this stuff. He could help in this case.
What is Gregor doing?
Thoughts on me holding out the blood crest on my hand to show that he was willing to make a negotiation.
Are you asking general consensus?
Yes. Or would that make things worse?
I mean, how is Gregor communicating this to George?
he's not. He's, you know what? Screw it. Gregor is sitting in this general area. Is going to get up, walk over, and be like, all right, obviously I'm not one of you guys. I've not been involved in all of this, but and I'm gonna unwrap the bandage around my hand and show it off. That guy, Conrad, who I take is like the big bad of the Sivas.
It's an
Direct.
accurate. Yeah.
He was willing to negotiate with us.
And he signed a blood pact.
It's not a very weighty one. Restrictive one, at least.
There's no world where that was a good idea.
There's no world where hunting him was a good idea.
Well,
There are arbiters out there.
so you say.
Your entire
yeah.
city is gone. You know how many people we saw die?
A blood pact was better than getting run through.
All I know is there's no world where something like that doesn't spell your own doom.
The conditions are rather lax.
I don't know. I don't trust it.
You have a difficult time trusting any of this.
Correct. Could not be more correct, especially in matters concerning that family. They're evil through and through.
Their ire is not for us while an arbiter lives. I suggest you make good use of that. And walk
Good
away.
use of ire.
Good use of this lapse in ire.
I'd like some soup.
Soup would be good. Gonna walk over and just get soup.
Gregor's not one to usually get annoyed at things, but in this case, he's very clearly like getting tired and annoyed of the stupid back and forth. When to him, he's like, "Yeah, there's very clearly other important things going on right now,
Hmm.
and that we could use anyone we can get who's, you know, not trying to get themselves killed." He's not going to make that part known, but I want to say that it was clear from the way that Gregor was speaking that this wasn't his normal chipper tone. Because you got to keep in mind he was just kind of sitting there through all of the conversation last time and now.
All right. Well, eat up. Yep. Man, much soup. Days, weeks of worth of soup. Maybe a year's worth of soup, even. Possibly. No, probably a month or two. Anyway, eat up, drink up. It's liquid, so drink up. Yes.
I'll oblige. Good soup.
And yeah, I'll get some soup too.
And then in the morning, I'm making potions.
About what time of day is it right now?
It is evening. Hank is currently eating fish with his family.
Would this be...
We're still behind, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, eating fish with family. Would this be the night where he leaves the note?
Yes.
Okay, so the timelines are almost matched
Yeah,
back
he's
up.
not written it yet, but we're getting there.
We're getting there.
Gotta love the split party.
Yeah. Not only split party, but split timeline.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just gonna leave the little dwelling and head to a nearby tree and climb up it. Just sit in it.
You're able to easily enough to climb into a tree. You got slippers.
The slippers have been game-changing in a forest.
Yes. No, those are great.
It would have been really funny if we did fight Conrad and I just put out the Sunblade like, oh, your son. Right.
Yeah, your son.
It was probably a very good thing that I stayed invisible for that conversation.
Yes, it would be.
And Gregor didn't technically lie.
Mm-hmm.
He said he doesn't know the current whereabouts of Annette, at least.
Yeah.
And he doesn't
None of you
know.
technically lied. That is true.
Yeah, and he doesn't know the current whereabouts of Conrad because they could have found his body and taken it out by then. So, and he was at the manor last time I was there. Last time I checked. So none of it was a lie.
So,
It's a very good
what are you
thing I
doing for the
stayed
rest of the night?
invisible. I'm just gonna not like strum the guitar because you can't really do that, but just like quietly play to myself.
There you go. That's the best
The
I got.
duck really makes it.
No, that doesn't work.
You flip the
And then
trumpet switch on the back of the guitar.
Yeah,
and
I'm just testing it
Gregor
out, seeing all the.
Gregor's gonna go pet the cat.
It does mrat you.
Love this little kitty. We need a traveling kitty. But yeah, Gregor doesn't feel like butting into that conversation anymore because it doesn't feel like anything is gonna happen.
So Gregor, with you still being in the hut, V and Miriam are talking about something. She seems a little disturbed. V seems a little disturbed at what Miriam's saying, but she's seemingly following along intently.
Am I able to hear what's
If you want to listen
going
in,
on?
go ahead and make a perception check.
That was a good choice. That's a 17.
Okay. Yeah, easy enough to hear. They are talking a little bit softly, but clearly not, not trying to hide things. So Miriam is explaining the process of resetting V's limbs and other joints back into place,
Ooh.
and explaining that in order to heal them back in the right position, she has to first break them free of their wrong position. So V's going to have to go through effectively the torture she's already gone through again in order to heal back up.
But it'll be swift. Definitely not painless, but it'll be swift this time.
Yeah. And basically, they're just talking over the details of all of that.
Yeah, no, that's not Gregor's place to chime in or anything. He's just gonna kind of like wince at the thought. Gregor didn't have any of his limbs broken in the dungeon, right?
No, he did not.
Yeah. I'd have to imagine that he's had a broken bone at some point, but
Oh yeah.
So he's a strong dude, but he knows the pain. So he winces at the thought of having all those bones broken.
And Gregor, you also have that black sword on your back, should you choose to do anything with it.
That is true. That is true. You said it's evening right now?
Mm-hmm.
Might as well. Gonna go outside and take it off and do a few practice swings with it, because if I'm gonna be using it at least a little bit, I gotta get used to it.
Do I see him go outside and practice?
Yeah, it's entirely possible if you're looking in that direction.
I'm going to minor illusion at him and just sort of whisper, "You may want to keep that sword away from my brother. I don't think he'll appreciate that one."
Would I be able to respond, or is that just...
You can shout out into the forest.
Oh yeah, I'll keep it a secret. Oh no. I'll keep it in mind. Like, is there a window that Nuvian could look at and see me doing that from his position?
He is sitting in the window, but he's facing inwards right now. He's not facing outwards. And he's got
I think
soup.
Yeah, I think I'll take that as a cue to like move to a place that's out of his view
Hmm.
because I don't want to provoke any of that stuff right now.
While I'm up here, I'm gonna try to remember what I know about arbiters, and specifically try to remember if they speak a language.
Okay.
I know
See. Yeah.
Draconic.
So go ahead and roll me a history check.
That is a 21.
21. Okay, let me go to my notes real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, the Arbiters did have a language that you do know called Draconic. And in fact, you would also, with that history check, remember that these are highly intelligent creatures, more so than your average humanoid. In fact, they reigned over the 3 continents for roughly 2,000 years, and this was about 4,500 years ago. And while they were reigning during this age of arbiters, it was called the Age of Arbiters because they had kept humanoids effectively as livestock, policing them, managing them under not the greatest conditions, very, very inhumane conditions. Although, of course, eventually society rose up and eventually hunted every last one of them down. At least that's how the story goes. And you also know that the Age of Arbiters began after the hundreds of dragons, which was approximately their estimated population size, had felled all of the gods. So these are powerful creatures.
All right, cool. It's good information to have.
And Gregor, you were practicing with that sword.
Mm-hmm. Except now moving out of view of
Yep.
Nuvian.
And so with that, as you train, after about 30 minutes of training, you eventually start to get a good feel for it. And as you... Are you just swinging in the air, or are you attacking, like, vines and bushes and stuff?
A mix, probably. Though I don't want to make too much noise. So
Okay.
more air swinging, but with some, like, light vine and bush coverage and stuff.
So as you, towards the end of this 30 minutes, end up swinging into a bush, you feel a vein pop in your very shiny head. As you go in, as you're just filled with a sense of rage. You feel your physical limits being pushed over the boundary. You feel stronger, and you feel like nothing could possibly take you down in this state. And as you swing into this bush, you get the urge to keep on swinging until the bush is completely chopped down to the ground. You're now attuned to this sword.
Do I hear and see this?
Yeah, you would have seen it from your vantage point.
That's highly unusual of Gregor.
Once the bush is chopped down, your rage subsides.
Oh boy. Whoa. That was weird.
I'm gonna climb on down. Hey, Gregor.
Oh,
That
hey, George.
really showed that bush what for.
Yeah, I don't know really what came over me. It's just I really wanted that bush gone.
Well, it probably deserved it then. Sure.
I would say so.
Well, it seemed to be getting late, so we should probably go get the rest.
Get a nice sleep for whatever comes tomorrow.
Yep.
And maybe get some more good soup.
Oh, yes.
As you just, pick up one of the bowls you had brought out of the soup yourself.
That's some good soup.
So, is there anything else you would like to do in this night?
Nope.
I don't think
Except
so,
maybe
no.
get some more soup.
All right. In the cabin, you find that both Miriams are already sleeping by the fire. And V is just kind of sitting awake, just kind of thinking, seemingly deep in thought. And Nubian is also seemingly resting as well.
I'm not gonna approach V about anything because I already know what I can probably infer what she's deep in thought about.
Hmm. Anything else
On
that
my
you
way
would like to
to,
do?
I was just gonna say, on my way to bed, I'm probably just gonna give V like a little nod.
She just goes back to thinking.
Also gonna head on to bed.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit the hay.
All right. And the only other thing I'll point out before we switch over to Pank is that moss that was left on the table that hadn't been jarred up has probably doubled in size and is just like pulsating in and out as if it's breathing.
Wait, the moss that we got?
Mhm.
It's just pulsating.
It's just pulsating in and out.
Oh, I don't like that.
At which point,
Yeah.
Pank falls through a roof.
Back to pink. Back to pink. The timelines are unsplit, but the party is still split.
You don't know how much time has passed between your brief second of consciousness as you're filled with just a ton of pain of falling through a roof before just going back unconscious. But you wake up once again, so you don't die outright. With the face of Fleck, sort of like slap over you, and he's just like slapping you on the cheek a little bit.
Would
Pank?
I be at like 1 HP now?
Yeah, you're at 1 HP.
Okay. Ugh.
Hey,
What?
buddy.
What?
Too much fruit.
I guess. What happened?
I mean, I don't know. That looked like a pretty nasty fall. I mean, surprised the walls are still standing. Although you don't look that bad off, strangely enough.
I'm gonna try to stand up.
You're sore, but you're not, like, nothing's broken.
Okay. Shocking. uh, ah, ah. Oh, yeah, okay, it's a bit sore.
It's like the soreness of a rough night's sleep.
Sore, but not the worst I've ever felt. But not the certainly not the best.
Well, as far as I've been able to see, you're not bleeding anywhere. You want some leftover soup? Soup abounds.
Yeah, sure. Yes, please.
He like takes a small wooden bowl, dips it into what looks to be a clay jar. Just picks up the lid, dips it in, hands you a bowl of cold soup.
Yeah, that hits the spot.
Oh, and you drop this, and he holds up the consciousness shifter. Not really sure what it does. He presses the button,
Oh,
and not
Yeah,
knowing
that
what it
sounds
does,
about right.
he just falls asleep on the spot.
Yeah, that's about right. I am gonna take the gun. Is there anyone else in the house as well?
Mrs. Kleck and
Oh, no.
Mr. Kleck is not here right now, but Mrs. Kleck is the in the hut, but she has seemingly remained asleep or has gone back to
Okay.
sleep.
So she
Despite the
doesn't
fact
see
that the
Clark
roof is
just
now caved
pass
in.
out. Oh, so she didn't even wake up from the caving in.
She's at least seemingly not awake right now.
Okay.
She's turned towards the wall, laying on a side.
Okay.
Gee, how do
so
birds sleep? She's just like, just crouched, facing towards the wall.
I'm gonna grab the consciousness shifter and I'm gonna press the button.
Okay. You also fall asleep. But your view around you is that Kleck's house is now filled with these green motes, and Kleck is now standing in front of you. That was weird.
Yeah, so welcome to
He tries and bats at one of
this
the motes.
realm.
Huh.
1 second. I just need to find.
She's gonna take a walk outside.
Yeah,
of the
so
of the hut.
I don't really understand it that well myself, but this thing basically, when you press the button like you did, you fall unconscious in the real world and you enter this sort of plane of existence.
Huh. That's a weird trick. Well, here's your thing back. He reaches for what he had just held, and it's not there.
I assume it's in my hand now, right?
Perception check.
Right, I can go back to rolling pink stuff. That's gonna be a 15.
Yep. Consciousness shifter is in your hand.
I'm gonna hold it up.
How'd you do that?
I took it off of you in real life and pressed the button myself.
Huh.
We're both unconscious now.
Right. And as you're outside of the hut, you can see that the what was the big ice spike wall encircling most of your tribe's area here is, instead of that very icy exterior, is now what looks to be large green crystals of hardened energy. And one of these crystals, back where you had originally landed in this equivalent space, is that green crystal that was housing Annette Siva.
No shoot.
And you can see from your vantage point, you're now outside that crystal. She's going to go ahead and make a perception check.
Annette is?
Yeah. She looks over towards your direction and stands up. Sees both of you. Just,
Do we notice her?
you,
Ow.
Pink, at least would have noticed this, as it's not like she's very heavily hidden. She's trapped in a green crystal.
Yeah, that's fair.
She seems to be looking out in your direction. Not doing much other than that.
I'm gonna turn over to Kleck and be like, "Hey,
Yeah.
put your hand onto this device as well."
Okay.
And I'm gonna press the button.
All right. You appear back in the cabin, or in the hut next to Kleck, also having just fallen over.
Lots of falling unconscious.
About a minute later, he comes to consciousness. Gets up. Was strange?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. It's a very weird thing, but something that I've picked up in my travels.
Well, I guess that's a neat trick. Can you do anything with it?
Yeah. It has its uses. Yeah, I guess I can tell you this. It has another function.
Ooh, do tell.
Using it, if you imagine a place that you've been to before and that you have some sort of strong connection to, while pressing the button, you'll be transported there.
Oh. So that's how you got here.
Yes.
Well, that is a handy device, isn't it?
Very. It's very handy and useful. Except for when the transportation doesn't work.
Oh.
If you don't have a strong enough connection to the place that you are imagining, when you press the button, you will fall unconscious. Like we did.
Ah. That explains the roof. Well, best not to use it while flying then, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I've learned that too.
So, suppose you're then planning to head back off on your own journey?
Yeah. I didn't I didn't want to make a big fuss about it. I just wanted to, you know, just head off.
Well, I wish thee the best of luck, my brother from another mother.
I'm gonna kind of take his hand and be like, I wish you the best as well.
He, of course, takes hands with you.
Yeah.
Very brotherly handshake.
Mhm.
And in your hand, he leaves one of his feathers.
Clegg. I don't say this out loud, but Clegg. I will kind of sneakily with my other hand, just kind of like pluck one of my own feathers.
Okay.
And not gonna give it to him yet, but gonna pull my hand back,
Hmm.
look at the feather, and just kind of like give him a little nod.
He gives you a nod back. And since you can't fly while using that thing, off and away! And he just flies up into the sky.
He's leaving his own home.
Yeah.
That's the Clegg guy now. No,
Through
and,
his now free roof access.
I'm gonna take my feather and just set it down on the closest surface.
Hmm.
And then I am going to imagine even harder this time. Like really straining a little bit.
Hmm.
Olson's.
Okay. History check.
Come on, you. Come on, you stupid bird.
It's a DC of 15. I will say 13.
It's not a nat one or anything, but it's a 7.
Hmm. So you just back to sleep.
In the unconscious realm, I'm just going to breathe in a deep breath of exasperation, stomp on the ground a few times, and then press the button.
All right, you're back in the hut. So for the rest of the night, you cannot choose Oldson's again. You've failed that check.
Okay. Shoot. All right. Well. What do I do now? There's nowhere else that I have a strong enough connection to. Olton's would be like the number 2, besides where I currently am. So I'm going to take off through the hole in the roof. And I'm going to fly just south.
Okay.
Birds have
Reminder, you're
ability
still
to-
at 1 HP.
Yeah.
Just Just gonna note that.
That's good to know. Right, that is good to know. But for now, I'm just gonna do a little bit of flying because
Okay.
I'm just sore right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not pleasantly, but it's sore. Oh. Yeah, I'm
The
just gonna
kind of
fly
sore
south.
you'd be if you fell through a roof.
Yeah.
Yeah. What? Oh, would that count as any sort of long rest or any sort of
It
short
did not.
rest? Okay. I don't have any first level spell slots. It's okay. As I'm flying, I'm gonna cast a second level Cure Wounds on myself.
Okay. You go ahead and cure those wounds.
And I cure 22 hits points worth of those wounds. Okay. I breathe a little sigh, a little like of, I guess, a little bit of relief
Understandable.
as I just fly south. Yeah, I mean, there's not much else I can do. I don't have sending, so I can't send to George. I don't have the ability to go to Oldson's right now. So if I want to leave the place, I'm just gonna get flying. And how far can I fly in a given period of time? What is Aarakocra 5e fly speed? Flying speed of 50 feet.
50 feet. So you'd be able to travel, we'll say, 2 miles every 10 minutes.
Damn, I'm fast.
And then I'll also say, if it's within the last week, it'll also be a 15 history check to try and return to that place. If you've been there for more than a couple minutes.
I guess that makes sense because it's pretty fresh in your mind, right?
Yeah.
The entire time I'm flying, I'm thinking, well, where else could I try and go? Where else can I try and go? And then I get two ideas. And I go ahead and find a clearing that I can go ahead and take a land in. Pink is a quick learner. I'm gonna think of I guess that would have been just about a month ago now. Dolem.
Okay.
Is it? What is it now?
It is, I believe, it's Garnet, I think.
Garnet.
Hold up.
Yeah, Garnet sounds right.
That sounds right.
Yeah, we'll say it's Garnet for now.
As Peg is just about to think of Garnet and press the button, he suddenly remembers the casino.
Okay. Yeah.
He's gonna think of the casino real hard because we've been there multiple times now and spent quite a bit of time there.
Yeah.
We even transported there once, so
That is true. I believe that's
So
where
I'm
you
gonna-
transported to get back to Citrine to get Gregor's spear. So yeah, we'll say 14.
That's
You've
fair.
been there a few times, and it's been within the last week.
Just for the record, my history is a +0, so I'm just rolling this straight. Come on, Pink needs to gamble. 16.
16 exactly. All right, yeah. So you press the button, and you see everything around you turn into this green light. Not the motes, just the green light that is accompanied with teleporting. And to you, 6 seconds go by in the real world. We're just going to take your date token and put you over to mid-morning. You find yourself in a large field of ash. The smell of char, the smell of burnt flesh.
Does it? If
Filling
it still smells like that, it's got to be recent.
your whole horizon. Except for, of course, the mountain that rises up off in the distance. Being, of course,
We
the
shouldn't have
Citrine
brought
Mountain.
the Siva boy there. It's him, of course.
As far as you can tell, the casino is burned down. Destroyed.
We can't play Ragnar's Run anymore. No. But more pressingly, Pink is looking around in absolute terror. Because if I can smell all that, I imagine it's pretty strong smell.
It's definitely faded over some time, but just you having appeared in that space and disturbed a little bit of the
Fair.
rubble. It has definitely picked up some scent.
If only I could send. So I'm going to pull up the map trademark.
And you can see off in the
Right.
distance, off in the horizon, up the mountain, there are buildings that are intact, but you can see that there is just this long, very even, strangely not fire-like, but some sort of burn scar that has just gone through everything in that trail and not burnt it down to the ground, but just burnt it. In a way, everything is carbonized in that very long streak that seems to come towards your direction.
I'm going to take off and see if I can get a good aerial view to see just how widespread the destruction is.
Okay. How high are you intending to fly there?
Let's say 100 feet.
100 feet. Okay. Okay. So, you get a much wider view of the city, and you can see that this burn scar that you saw in the distance actually does not connect with where you were at the casino. It goes off to the side. Where you were was a separate scar that does look more like burns from a fire. Off in the distance, you also see large, non-circular pillars of ice that have sprouted up, as well as parts, just raised section of city, just square raised sections of the city that have sort of crumbled off the sides. So at the top there is, buildings that were there that have collapsed, but on the sides of those large erected pillars, you can see that there are remnants of buildings that have fallen down and then crumbled down onto the city below.
Oh, dear God.
And those pillars of stone seem to be in sort of dips of terrain as well, as if the earth itself had been moved. This is definitely a city that has been under attack by something much more serious than your village.
And Pink would not have seen Jasper on fire, so he wouldn't have a frame of reference for that.
You did get told about it by George, but no, you
Yeah.
didn't see it.
And if I'm not mistaken, Citrine is super far away from Jasper.
Yes, it's in the center of the continent versus Jasper, which is on the very edge.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can see that the clusters of damage do seem to be localized to individual points, rather than just a very widespread, even distribution of damage. Seems to be like key points were targeted.
Okay, actually looking at the map, it seems like where I was in the Schloss Forest is actually closer to Jasper than Citrine.
Correct. As the bird flies.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is good information. Anyway, Pink is gonna hightail it out of Citrine, just like flying over.
Okay.
Uh,
Let me open up the Citrine map.
Gonna follow along the. Let's see.
Okay, the pearl necklace is pretty close, or was pretty close to the edge of the city.
You know
taking
the
maybe 20
river
minutes to fly
that
up.
we followed in on the boat from
Yeah.
Namble? I'm gonna fly up and follow along that river.
Okay. That you'd have to go around the mountain to get to there. Well, let me just pull it up on the cities. Here we go. Citrine. This one, I think.
Isn't it in the Copper District?
Yeah, you're in the Copper District. Hold up. I'm opening the wrong version of Citrine. Where's the... Oh, Citrine stuff. Citrine detailed. Here we go. I saw big boy. Okay. There you go. So here's the pearl necklace. It'd take about 20 minutes to fly just outside the border of the city there. You'd have to fly all the way. I guess you could take this route. You never ended up going in this area here. These two bodies of water connect up here, and then go out to the Tourmaline Lake.
Okay. Would I be able to see the river from my vantage point with how high up I am and how leveled everything is?
No, you would not. This body of water here versus the terrain around it is probably 100 to 200 feet below. The entire area of Citrine is raised up on this mountain.
Oh, okay. You see, I have such an issue of like just saying I'm gonna do this thing without thinking about whether that makes sense to my character. Because from my current perspective, I don't think Pink would know where to fly to find the river.
Mhm.
So
I mean, you'd probably be generally aware of the geography, because you did go at least over
I've
here
traveled around it a lot.
to go up into the mountain, which had an entrance here and ended up over here somewhere.
Yeah. So I would have. Oh, and plus we came through the river to. Oh wait, or did we come from? Where did we come into the city?
We came through the
So
lake.
if you imagine there's a big, long lake here,
Yeah.
there was a river that came in this way, you turned off this way, came into this lake, went through a tunnel between here and here, and then docked port over here,
Right.
or over here, and then you took the train up into the city.
Okay. Yeah, so then I don't think I would be aware that that river there connects back to a bigger lake that connects back to where we came from. I guess from here, I'm just gonna... Ugh. I'm just gonna fly to the nearest, like, obvious boundary of the city and start flying in that direction.
Okay, so you can make your way to the wall here. That'll take about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And you are just about at the right height to fly over this wall as well. It is a very tall wall. I don't remember the exact measurement. And you're flying past the wall, or are you flying just to the wall and landing there?
I'm gonna fly a little past the wall, and then I'm gonna follow the curvature of the wall.
Okay. And to where are you trying to go?
Good question. I think I'm just gonna fly around the curvature of the wall.
Okay.
Just like seeing if I can find any recognizable geography to then continue on. Because I think my plan is to try kind of like slightly backtrack our like travels here. Just to like hit those points to see if they are all in ruin.
I see. So, after about an hour of flying north, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, maybe like 2 hours actually, you do see a road coming out of the city there. Go ahead and make me a history check for that.
17.
It is oddly familiar, as if you've traveled it before. But you feel like you've traveled it, but you just don't remember traveling along it.
Yeah. And would that be the red road?
Yeah.
To the east?
Yes.
As the player character, I know where that goes, and that would be interesting to go over and see, but for now, I'm gonna just continue going north and flying along the edge.
Okay.
For as long as I can without getting exhausted.
Yeah, you can fly for a day. You've done it before.
I'm probably going to keep going for a little bit longer past that road, east. And then...
And are you flying below the lip of that road, or are you flying up above it to see into the city?
I'm flying above it.
Okay.
Because I want to be able to see into the city and also beyond. I'm basically flying almost above the rim.
So as you're passing this area, you can see off in the distance, just down into the horizon, there's this valley here between these two mountains that is full of crops that have been attacked, but with the ice crystals, not with any sort of fire or earth.
Oh, shoot. This place got multi-attacked.
And no, from this distance, it'd be too small to recognize anything other than that. Because you're like 20 miles away.
Yeah. Man, I'm
The only reason you're
stuck.
able to even see it is because the land itself
Yeah.
goes down.
It dips in. Man, I'm stuck. I don't know what to do. I'm several thousands of miles away from my party. I can't communicate with them. I'm not in the best shape. And I'm in a place that has been attacked by quite possibly many arbiters. So it's not really safe to be. Or rest. So what the hell do I do? I'm just gonna keep flying around the rim.
All right.
I don't feel like there's much that Pink could think to do. I'm thinking in Pink's shoes right now. He has no clue what to do. He's in a bad situation. He's just surveying the best he can.
Eventually, you make your way above this water here, where the land just dips down probably about 200 feet. You see there's a
Oh,
body of water that goes off north.
what time would it be of the day?
Oh man, Pank is getting much farther ahead in the timeline. It's probably about 3 p.m. at this point.
Oh boy. I mean, I don't know how else to there's no way for me to rejoin the timelines right now. I mean, I could try going to Jasper, but based off of what George said, that's not a good idea.
Hmm.
Although I was there within the past week. At the Eager Wish Manor, right?
Correct. So while Pink is thinking and flying about, we'll go ahead and switch back to George
Yeah.
in the morning. So, George and Gregor. No, Gregor's still asleep. George, you come to the smell of soup. Very pungent, stinging smell, but soup.
Do I perhaps smell seaweed in that soup?
It's a reminiscent smell, yes.
All right. Sounds about right. I'm gonna head over to the cauldron.
And you do see Miriam at the pot there, stirring away, very witch-like, cackling a little bit to herself. And she takes a chunk of this like pulsating mass and just like drops it into the pot. Oh, this soup is going to be great. Let's keep stirring. Doesn't seem to pay you much mind.
Fair enough. Well, I'm not gonna interrupt a good soup making session. You know what? It's been a while. I'm gonna do the same thing I did last night, but instead of the guitar, I'm just gonna quietly play the flute to myself.
All right. So you go ahead and practice. You hear Nuvian come to, but he is not going to move about at all, other than just he's rolled over. And he's just going to listen.
I'm gonna get the hamburger helper out. I
Okay.
can't believe I didn't get this idea until now. I'm gonna see if I can play additional notes by using the hand as a third helper, or as the helper as a third hand.
Okay. You certainly can do that.
Ooh,
Go ahead and
ooh,
make me
I
a
could make
performance
some.
check.
Yeah. By the way, it's storming here, so I might lose power. So if
Oh
I
boy.
freeze up, um, yeah. So we'll
Oh,
keep
fun.
going for now.
We're close to the end of the session.
Uh, I believe I have a +10, so that should be 18. Yeah, 18.
All right. Easily enough. It's like having a third hand, you know? Just able to easily enough play your. Oh, there's my soup rules. Easily enough to
You're what?
play your guitar.
Soup rolls.
I was looking for my soup rules like last session. I couldn't find it. It's because I wrote them down physically and I couldn't search them up in the documents.
Well, I'm glad someone's keeping track of it.
It's a job that needs to be done.
Hmm.
But yeah, you now can play. We'll say having a hamburger helper gives you. You can add your proficiency bonus to whatever checks.
That's great. That means with the helper, I'm at +11 on performance. Sorry, +13.
There are
Oh.
consequences to my actions. Bards be crazy.
Bard's going Bard moment.
Bard moment.
How would sending interact with the whole goings on with Pank?
He would be flying right now.
Right. Oh yeah, because okay.
I
But I
feel
don't
like we
know
should
that.
get the timelines matched back up before you try
Yeah,
sending.
I'll
Well, we'll say that
Yeah, that-
Hank's plan to fly around the perimeter is a plan, and he's not necessarily done that yet.
Okay, yeah. Let's do a little retconning just in case. I feel like if the timelines are split, it would be best to have an option to do sending before I make any other decisions. If sending's available.
let's see.
Actually,
So
he right now would probably be light because you woke up
yeah.
earlier than him. Granted, he
Let's
did
say
leave at. Oh, no, he would
because I'm
be
an
he would be
elf.
real.
Because I'm an elf and because he's a bird, I'm gonna say, okay, well, he might be asleep, so I'm not gonna do it right now.
Mhm.
And I'll figure a time in the afternoon would be safest to do it.
Wait
Oh,
till
right,
he
we're back in the
hears the
forest.
news about Citrine.
Oy vey.
So, after a few more hours of double toil and trouble around the cauldron, and many more pulsating chunks of sea moss added to the pot, Miriam goes ahead and grabs some more readily available jars and fills up 3 of them by with this sort of scum that she's skimmed off the top of the pot. It's like thicker, more. This is like thicker brown liquid.
Sludge?
Yeah. It's like a mix between red and green, so brownish. Or would that be? Yeah, brownish.
Yeah. And this is for Nuvian?
So she takes one of the jars and goes over to Nuvian.
Yeah.
Well, it's ready. Your final jar. Ah, yes. Well, I suppose we should just get it over with, right? And at this point, Gregor, you're coming too as well. I'll say. George. No, Erjor. Hold on, I'm going to flip back to the page that has Erjor written in bold and underlined. Erjor. Would
Hello.
you happen to be able to cast some sort of blindness or deafness spell?
I most certainly could, yeah.
Could you go ahead and deafen V over there?
I get the flute ready, and I just...
All right, and you can see the V, while she is conscious, she does not resist in any way. She's just going to turn to the corner and have some morning soup in complete silence.
This poor woman.
Ah, and Big Man, I see you're up as well.
Yeah, I'm waking up.
Would you mind dislocating his legs?
Gregor's eyes do what mine just did in real life and just like widen in like confusion and slight terror. Like, excuse me?
I feel like a strong fellow like you would have a little bit of an easier and cleaner time than trying to break his legs over a rock. But
Wait,
yeah,
are we talking
just
about
pull them out of the sockets, both at the foot and the knee, and then we can set them back to where they need to be. It's magical
just
because
gonna-
it rhymes.
I'm gonna point over at V and be like, V?
Oh yes, she's gonna have to go through the same thing too.
Oh, we're talking about
For every-
Nuvian.
All of that. He's made it most of the way.
Oh. So you want me to dislocate both of Nuvian's legs?
Yep, both of his knees and both of his ankles.
Okay, I guess.
For better or for worse, they already chopped off his toes and grew them back, so those are in the right position.
Oh dear God. So this is to fix his legs, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna get up out of the bed because I've been in there this whole time, and I'm gonna stretch and walk over to Nuvian and be like, "Hey there."
And not V. Miriam is going to grab a branch of this this sort of weed, this plant, and say, "Here, go ahead and chew on this as well, just like last time." And so Nuvian takes it and just starts chewing. And you can tell it from the way he moves his jaw, it's a very gummy substance.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
Well,
I guess.
No time like the present.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and start with the knees.
So count down from 3, I suppose.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
And Gregor's
Just,
gonna
just do it.
Yeah,
Go ahead and roll me a strength check.
Oh God. No! No! Why did my keyboard have to be right there? It bumped into my keyboard and went from a nat 20 to a 2. So that's going to be a 5.
That wasn't so bad. Oh.
Sorry, it just morning. It just woke up, you know. I gotta. Sorry about that.
Well, a bit of a stretch and then another go. Trust me, you're doing better than I did.
I'm just gonna move the hand over to Nuvian and just be like, just squeeze.
What,
Gregor's
squeeze
gonna
on
go for a round
the
2.
hamburger helper?
Yep.
How many hit points does it have? It's like 2, doesn't it?
I don't think it lists a HP.
Okay.
So hold on. I just realized we're gonna have to do this 4 times.
No, I'm just gonna make you do it once.
Oh, okay. Oh no, but I mean like it's in world. It's gonna happen 4
yes.
times because both knees and both legs. Oh God.
Yeah, both knees and both ankles.
All right. I do a little stretch and then I lock in and I put my
Another
arms back
strength
on.
check.
$13
Okay. Total?
total.
Good enough. You go ahead and it's a little bit of a versus just a clean single snap, but eventually you do end up popping his joints back out. And Miriam goes ahead and twists them back into the right orientation, and then hands him the jar of soup, of which he takes a big swig. And with the drink, probably getting about a third of the way through the drink, you can see that the joints that you had just dislocated begin to back into place. And
Wonderful.
so, through a very nasty process, you eventually get all of his joints back in place. And now Nuvian now has full joint capabilities.
I've had to do a lot of things being a guard and stuff, but yeah, let me tell you, this is up there.
Imagine you've set a limb or two before.
Oh yes, for sure. But
You can see his eyes
you
are
know.
just watering in pain.
Oh, I've set plenty. I've broken bones myself, but you know, I've never actively intentionally dislocated so many parts on a
It's all
comrade before.
part of the process, right?
Yeah.
Yes, and let's hope you don't have to do that anymore. And she just goes ahead and looks over at V.
Don't tell me. I'm gonna be the one. Okay.
Well,
So when are we gonna start that?
Ooh. Whenever she's ready. Which might not be for a while.
Is there ever gonna be a time where she's gonna be ready for that thing?
Ready as possible, I suppose. Luckily, we've got
She's still
many
deafened.
jars
She's still
worth of,
deafened, by the way.
Yeah, she is. That's going to be a thing to deal with. But all part of the process of getting past things. Probably better to get her as healed up as possible first before starting, so it'll be a while.
Mm-hmm. So why did we deafen her? So that she doesn't hear what's going on here?
Yeah, no, There's, I don't think, any situation where she would want to hear all of what we just had Nuvian go through.
I feel like
I
she has
concur.
an idea already, but
Better to. I mean, we both heard the process go one way.
yeah,
Probably not
I get it.
so nice to hear it go the other way as well.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't mind, I'm just gonna. And he just passes out. This is definitely the most, unmasked, walled up you've ever seen your brother
Yeah, this is
in the face of just extreme pain.
yeah.
And with that, Nuvian is healed. Tank is flying. Do you want to do one last thing before we call it a session? Or the storm calls it a session for us?
Yeah, I think it's fine.
I think that's a good leaving off place.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll go ahead and call it there then.
Okay.
Plan 2 succeeded?
I guess, yeah.
Unmitigated success.
Exactly. Never been more of a success in the history of successes.
That's what I'm saying.